All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. Once again, peace and blessings to the 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four quarters of the earth. Hallelujah. Praises to the Father. All praises to the Most High Power. Yahuwah Bahashem, Yahushua HaMashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say shalom, wa, baruchim. That is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day that the Most High brings us back together. And we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High power, under one covenant, back in our own land with a heart of flesh and no more a heart of stone, with our enemies, our adversaries, and all those who hate us under our feet. Hallelujah. Praises to the almighty power of Israel, Yahuwah by name, in the name of his beloved son, Yahushua, Yahawashah, however you choose to pronounce it, Hamashiach and King. Hallelujah. Ladies and gentlemen, you are live and direct with your Akazaki Yahu, and it is on the Gregorian calendar, the 12th month, the 25th day. Happy wickedness, paganism, happy evil times. No, there's nothing happy about it. It's a sad occasion, especially when I see my people. It's so very sad to see my people. Let me explain something to you, Israel. All you so-called Negroes, so-called black man, woman, and child. Under the sound of my voice, if you are a Negro, a so-called Negro, a so-called black person, and that means that you came here to this country, to America, to the United States, regardless of what state you live in, regardless of what section of the country you live in, if you came to this place as a descendant of the transatlantic slave trade, you have no business celebrating any pagan festival given to you by the very people who brought you here to be their slave. That is the most ridiculous goddamn thing I have ever encountered. And I know a lot of us don't know. I'm so patient with my people. I love my people. I truly love my people. Here's the reality. As difficult as things have been for our people, I don't want to see not a now so-called black person, somebody that I would call Israel, somebody that I would call Yasha'al or Yasha'Allah or Zion. I don't want to see not a one of us, not a one go to the lake of destruction, the lake of fire, the lake of consumption. I don't want to see you go there. I don't want to see it. The Most High says in his through his prophet Isaiah that we would go every new moon and every Sabbath, and we would look on the carcasses of those that transgressed the law of the Most High. That's what we got to look forward to. Is going out and seeing all those who decided that they were going to do their own thing and they weren't going to follow the Most High. I personally, Zakiyahu, I fear the Most High. And I don't mean fear as in I cower. I'm sure I would cower at his presence, at his voice, at his magnificent ability. I would certainly cower at all of that because he is so magnificent. But I fear as in reverence. I reverence the Most High and everything that I am. So I cannot deal with wickedness because the Most High will not deal with wickedness. I don't want to be separated from the Most High. I want to be closer to the Most High. So I can't deal with the wickedness. I can't do the evil things that this society would have me to do. There's no, there's nothing conducive about me doing these things. There's nothing that's going to profit me in doing these things. Now I know I used to do Christmas. I used to do this pagan New Year. I used to do all of these things. I used to walk in these things. I used to believe in these things. I used to think that it was righteous. It was a righteous thing because that was what was perpetrated in this society. That was a complete lack of understanding, a lack of knowledge. That's why I thought the way I thought. But after coming into the word of the Most High, after coming into the understanding of the Most High, after reading the text that the Most High has set forth for us, I realized that not only is it absolutely wrong for me to do these things, but the Most High has zero, absolutely no pleasure in me when I do these things. Now, is it because I know better? It's because these every holiday is attached to a deity. That's why I explicitly say so-called black people, because we are the people of the Most High Power. You belong to the Most High. The Most High have given you for himself. You belong to him. I belong to him. Is it because we are black? No. It's because we are the seed of Jacob, Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. You are an Israelite, which means you are a descendant of the man whose name is Jacob. That's why we are in captivity here and now. That's why we suffer these curses, these hard times, these afflictions under these other nations, because our people did not keep the covenant of the Most High. So when we didn't keep the covenant, the punishment or the response for not keeping the covenant was captivity. The Israelites, we have served captivity after captivity after captivity after captivity after captivity after captivity. And here we are, yet this day, in the land of our captivity. It don't matter if you in the United States. It don't matter if you in South America. It don't matter if you're in Peru. It doesn't matter if you're in uh, Europe. It doesn't matter if you're in Jamaica. It doesn't matter if you're in Haiti. It doesn't matter if you're in the Dominican Republic. It doesn't matter where you are. Wherever you are in the land of your captivity. You know why? Because the Israelites are not in charge. Therefore, righteousness does not prevail in this earth because we are in the land of our captivity. We are the ones that are going to bring righteousness to this earth, not these wicked ass devils, these wicked ass heathen. So, for us to take their pagan ways and apply to ourselves, the same people who took us by force, brought us into subjection with chains, forced our people to work for them for free. It was called slavery. And they didn't do it in a righteous manner. They didn't do it to serve the power of their fathers. They did it because it was evil. And that's what the Most High warned us about. If you don't follow me, I'm going to take away my protection, and your adversaries are going to come against you, and you will not have the might to stand against them. And when you try to stand against them, you're going to lose, and they're going to put you into captivity. That was the Most High's warning to the nation of Israel. And yet, here we are, yet this day, in the land of our captivity, keeping the pagan festival to their deities, worshiping their idols. The deities of the nations are idols. But the Most High made the Shamayim. The Most High made the heavens. So we got the best power. We got the only power. We got the power that can get us out of this thing. And yet we still dealing with paganism. I don't understand it. Let's get to the video. This video is titled Exposing How Satan Infiltrated Christianity with Christmas. This is a full documentary. It is 34 minutes long. Enjoy. I pray somebody watches, learns, and listens and learns. Here we go.
What if you were shown that what you believe to be Christmas in your mind is not really what Christmas is in reality? What if I proved to you that Christmas was surreptitiously subjoined to Christianity with the delusive intent to have those that follow Christianity to inadvertently worship Satan? What if it was shown to you that you've been systematically induced into partaking yearly in this satanic ritual called Christmas, and that you are responsible for empowering demon forces, and you don't even know it? Sounds crazy, right? I know. But nothing is ever what it really seems to be. You see, the problem is you don't ask questions. You just go with the flow, right? You've been taught to just do as others do. You've been programmed to go with the program. For example, let me ask you a question. Why do you bring a tree in your house on December 25th? What does that signify? What does it mean? What is the reason you do it? The answer is you don't know. Let me ask you another one. What is the reason that you take that same tree that you don't know why you brought in your house and you deck it with silver, with gold, and various other ornaments? What does it mean? Why do you do it? The answer is you don't know. What is the reason you put that star on the top of that tree for? What does it mean? You don't know. What are you kissing somebody under a mistletoe for? You don't know. So now, with that being said, what you need to do is sit down and lend me your ear for a few minutes so you can understand why you do these things. You can get the origin of these things, and then you can consciously decide if you want to continue doing it or if you want to do away with it. Because you have been naively beguiled into worshiping Satan. And I'm going to show you exactly how Satan infiltrated Christianity with Christmas. The festivals of Rome are innumerable. but 5 of the most important may be singled out for elucidation, viz. Christmas Day, Lady Day, Easter, the Nativity of St. John, and the Feast of Assumption. Each and all of these can be proved to be Babylonian. And first, as to the festival in honor of the birth of Christ, or Christmas, how comes it that the festival was connected with the 25th of December? There is not a word in the scripture about the precise day of his birth or the time of year when he was born. What is recorded there implies that at what time soever his birth took place, it could not have been on the 25th of December. December 25th stems all the way back to the beginning of civilization in ancient Babylon. During the winter solstice, according to mythology, that's the day when the sun began to regain its dominion and begin to conquer the night. Because during the winter solstice, that's the period when the night is at its longest extent throughout the whole year, and the day shone for the shortest amount of time throughout the whole year. So in a sense, there's this type of mythological battle going on between the sun and night. So what succeeded the winter solstice was a gradual increase of the sun going from its lowest point all the way up until the summer solstice, where it goes into its highest point. So the pagans back then took that as a sign that the sun was beginning to regain dominance over the night, and they began to make deities out of it. So for instance, you have the Egyptian god Horus, who was born on the winter solstice of December 25th. You have the Greek god Helios, who was born on the winter solstice of December 25th. You have the Greco-Roman god Apollo, who was born on December 25th. You got the Hindu god Mithra, who also was born on December 25th. And you got the demon of all demons, the deity named after Nimrod, Baal, who after Nimrod's death, he was deified by his mother Semiramis and turned and claimed that he became the sun god. He also was born on December 25th. The scholars know, and all the elite know, that December 25th has always been used as a pagan day to conjure up spirits and demons. It's always been used that way. So now what they did was take the Bible and infiltrate it and then put the name Christ over it and got the whole world conjuring up spirits and empowering demons on December 25th, when it has nothing to do with the birth of Christ at all. At the time that the angel announced his birth to the shepherds of Bethlehem, they were feeding their flocks by night in the open fields. Now, no doubt the climate of Palestine is not so severe as the climate of this country, but even there, though the heat of day be considerable, the cold of the night from December to February is very piercing, and it was not the custom for the shepherds of Judea to watch their flocks in the open fields later than about the end of October. What the Bible does say is that during the time of Christ's birth, the shepherds were outside feeding the flocks and grazing them by nighttime. And anybody in their right mind will tell you that there's no way shepherds are going to be outside in the dead of winter grazing flock in the blistering cold. The Bible does not substantiate a winter birth, because there's no way the shepherds would be outside grazing flock in the dead of winter when it's blistering cold. I stay in Florida where they have mild winters, and there's no way, even in the wintertime, I'm going to be outside in the middle of the night grazing the flock, and I have sheep. There's no way I'm going to go out there and be grazing the flock. They're going to have to wait until the morning. At the birth of Christ, every woman and child was to go to be taxed at the city whereto they belonged, whether some had long journeys, but the middle of winter was not fitting for such a business, especially for women with child and children to travel in. Therefore, Christ could not have been born in the depth of winter. And during the time of Christ's birth, Mary and Joseph had to go back to their city to be taxed. The Romans had set up publicans all throughout the land of Israel to have the Israelites come and pay tribute to them. And there's no way in the world that the Romans would have set up a taxation time during the dead of winter, because back then they didn't have cars and stuff where you can jump in with a heater. People had to walk and had to go out however means necessary, but they didn't have heaters with them. So in the dead of winter, when it's blistering cold, that would not be a beneficial and an appropriate time to have people come all the way back to get taxed in their own cities. Zondervan Bible Compact Dictionary. Christmas, the anniversary of the birth of Christ, and its observance celebrated by most Protestants and by Roman Catholics on December 25th, by Eastern Orthodox churches on January 6th, and by the Armenian Church on January 19th. The first mention of its observance on December 25th is in the time of Constantine, about AD 325. The date of Christ's birth is not known. The scholars themselves know that Christ was not born on December 25th. They know that for a fact. That's factual to them. But what happens is the government sets up preachers to go out and tell you some fabricated lie and have you teaching and participating in satanic rituals while they sitting back twirling their thumbs because they know that they know the truth already. And while you over there conjuring up demons, they sitting back laughing, enjoying it and getting power. Constantine himself knew when he set it up that Christ was not born on December 25th. He knew that. He knew that it was a pagan ritual that was passed down from the Babylonians to the Egyptians, to the Greeks, all the way down to the Romans. And that all he was going to do was compile it together and have all the Christians thinking that they worship in Christ, when he knew good and well that it had nothing to do with the birth of Christ. The governmental system today knows that it has nothing to do with Christ, but they're not going to say anything. They write it in the books, but they're not going to say anything because you are conjuring up spirits and giving power to the demonic forces that rule the earth. How then did the Roman Church fix on December the 25th as Christmas Day? Why, thus, long before the 4th century and long before the Christian era itself, a festival was celebrated among the heathen at that precise time of the year in honor of the birth of the son of the Babylonian Queen of Heaven. During the time of the Romans, they had a celebration during the same time of the year in December called the Saturnalia, where they would walk around and give each other gifts, sing songs, and have a bunch of orgies, a freak fest. It started out with 2 days, from December 17th to December 19th. Then it was extended to a week. So the Romans of antiquity were already celebrating Christmas before they knew anything about a Christ. The difference is they were celebrating and worshiping the Babylonian god Nimrod, reincarnated as Tammuz. They changed the name to Saturn. It's the same god, deified as the sun god. And they was paying homage and worshiping him at that time, before they had heard anything about a Christ. And if you know anything about history, Rome is the one who branched off and gave everyone their religion. Rome, that's where your Christian church comes from. That's where your Catholicism comes from. The Protestants, the Baptists, all those stem from pagan Rome. And that's where you get your Christmas from. They were celebrating Christmas before they heard anything about a Christ. They was already celebrating Christmas. And it may fairly be presumed that in order to conciliate the heathen and to swell the number of the nominal adherents of Christianity, the same festival was adopted by the Roman Church, giving it only the name of Christ. This tendency on the part of Christians to meet paganism halfway was very early developed. During the time of the Roman Emperor Constantine, Christianity had already been hijacked already. So Constantine had a diabolic plan to gain converts and to have all people come together under Christianity. But a lot of the pagans of Rome didn't want to come under the guidelines of Christianity at that time. So Constantine devised a plan and said, you know what? Don't worry about it. You like that Saturnalia? You don't have to give that up. We're going to incorporate that together with Christianity, and we're going to call it Christmas. So therefore, we can have the best of both worlds. We can have you still worshiping the god of Saturn, but all we'll do is we're going to put the face of Christ over it. And when the pagans heard that, they're like, well, we're on board then. If we can still continue to do Saturnalia, then we have no problem joining forces with the Christians. Because Saturnalia was the way that Christmas is celebrated today. That's how large of a scale Saturnalia was. It was the most prominent festival of the Romans back then. And we find Tertullian, even in his day, about the year 230, bitterly lamenting the inconsistency of the disciples of Christ in this respect, and contrasting it with the strict fidelity of the pagans to their own superstitions. By us, says he, who are strangers to the Sabbaths and new moons and festivals once acceptable to God, the Saturnalia, the Feast of January, the Brumalia, and Matronalia are now frequented. Gifts are carried to and fro. New Year's Day presents are made with din, and sports and banquets are celebrated with uproar. Oh, how much more faithful are the heathen to their religion, who take special care to adopt no solemnity from the Christians. Upright men strive to stem the tide, but in spite of all their efforts, the apostasies went on till the church, with the exception of a small remnant, was submerged under pagan superstition. Christianity had already been infiltrated heavily by Satan. They already started changing the day of worship. They switched it from the Sabbath day, which is Friday sundown, to Saturday sundown, and they changed it to Sunday. The Romans did, another pagan day. The Most High commanded to worship on the Sabbath day, and that's what they did, the Israelites did during the time of Christ, pre-Constantine. And they end up changing it and adding pagan days to it, which is Sunday, the worship of the sun. They had already started switching up the doctrines, and there was a few good men that were actually left that upheld the actual true doctrine of Christ in its true essence. And after a while, so much paganistic rituals and customs flooded in Christianity that the men who actually upheld the original doctrine, they ended up getting flooded out, because the pagans already overflowed the Christian church. That Christmas was originally a pagan festival is beyond all doubt. The time of year and the ceremonies with which it is still celebrated prove its origin. In Egypt, the son of Isis, the Egyptian title for the Queen of Heaven, was born at this very same time, about the time of the winter solstice. The very name by which Christmas is popularly known among ourselves, Yule Day, proves at once its pagan and Babylonian origin. Yule is the Chaldee name for an infant or little child, and its 25th of December was called by our pagan Anglo-Saxon ancestors Yule Day, or the Child's Day, and the night that preceded it, Mother Night, long before they came in contact with Christianity. That sufficiently proves its real character. The candles in some parts of England lighted on Christmas Eve and used so long as the festive season lasts were equally lighted by the pagans on the eve of the festival of the Babylonian god, to do honor to him, for it was one of the distinguishing particularities of his worship to have lighted wax candles on his altar. The lighting of the candles When you and your family all getting together, smiling, lighting candles, yes, that means something. It's an ancient Babylonian custom, commemorating and worshiping the birth of Nimrod, Satan himself. See, people think these customs just popped up out of thin air when they've been around all the way since the beginning of time. And they have overflowed and found their way and crawled their way down into modern day society today. It's the same customs, just being repeated and another name masked over it. Back then, it was Babylon. Today, it's masked with Christ. It's the same exact custom. Same ritual, same custom, same worship. Same exact God. The Christmas tree, another paganistic custom and ritual that stems all the way back to ancient Babylon. It's the same exact God that worked his way all the way through and made his way all the way up to Christianity. It's the same exact deity. Most Christians don't even know that the Christmas tree is in the Bible. God condemns dealing with the Christmas tree. It's an abomination. He tells you not to deal with it. Any Christian that has read the Bible, the reason you don't know it's in the Bible because you've never read the Bible. Most Christians never read the Bible. Because if they did, they would know they're not supposed to be dealing with a Christmas tree or any other type of tree, putting ornaments and putting presents underneath it. You would know that it was an ancient custom and a heathenistic custom and a paganistic custom and a satanic worship and Luciferian doctrine. Jeremiah 10 and verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. The Christmas tree, now so common among us, was equally common in pagan Rome and pagan Egypt. In Egypt, that tree was the palm tree. In Rome, it was the fir. The palm tree denoting the pagan Messiah as Baal Tamar, the fir referring to him as Baal Berith. The mother of Adonis, the sun god and great mediatorial divinity, was mystically said to have been changed into a tree. So early Rome denoted the palm tree as Baal Tamar and the fir tree as Baal Berith, which when you understand anything about religious origin, you'll know that these are all the same gods. They stem from the same gods back in ancient Babylon, the worship of Nimrod, reincarnated after he died when he was deified by his mother Semiramis. He became known as Baal and then became known as Baal Zebub or Beelzebub. And when you read the Bible, that's the highest ranking demon in the demonic forces. Luke 11 verse 15. But some of them said, he casteth out devils through Beelzebub, the chief of the devils. He's the head chief demon of all the legions underneath him. So when you have this tree in your house, the Christmas tree, you dealing on a high level of satanic worship, whether you know it or not. You dealing directly with Satan himself by participating in that satanic ritual that you do yearly. You conjuring up spirits right there. You conjuring direct. That tree is the direct porthole to Satan himself, the Beelzebub. The Christmas tree, as has been stated, was generally at Rome a different tree, even the fir. But the very same idea as was implied in the palm tree was implied in the Christmas fir. For that covertly symbolized the newborn God as Baal Berith, Lord of the covenant, and thus shadowed forth the perpetuity and everlasting nature of his power. Not that after having fallen before his enemies, he had risen triumphant over them all. Therefore, the 25th of December, the day that was observed at Rome as the day when the victorious God reappeared on earth and held at the Natalis Invictus Solis, the birthday of the unconquered sun. Now the Yule log is the dead stock of Nimrod, deified as the sun god, but cut down by his enemies. The Christmas tree is Nimrod redivivus, the slain god come to life again. So the Yule log is representation of Nimrod being chopped down, his death. Then you put the Yule logs into the fire. Most people don't do that part of the ritual because most of you don't have a fireplace to put it in. If you got money in your own place and an actual fireplace, those are the ones that partake into that ritual. Then after that Yule log gets burnt, then on Christmas Day represents the reincarnation of Nimrod, which is the tree, the Christmas tree with the presents underneath it, because the legend has it that after Nimrod was reincarnated, he'd come in the nighttime and leave presents underneath the tree. So it's a whole ritual that's being done, and you don't have any idea why you're doing it. You're completing a whole satanic ritual, and you have no idea why you're doing it. You're getting socially programmed to partake in this demonic custom, and you have no idea why you're doing it. So the hypnosis starts right after you finish at the end of November, and you get bombarded with all type of Christmas carols and Christmas movies and lights, different colors, and it's very obvious that Christmas has nothing to do with the birth of Christ. Because every store you go to Walmart, Walgreens, all you're gonna hear is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. What does that have to do with the birth of Christ? You're gonna hear Santa Claus is coming to town. What does that have to do with the birth of Christ? And then on top of that, they mix in a small portion of religious belief just to mask it over and to cause confusion and make some people believe like, okay, you know what? Maybe it does have something to do with Christ. When at all that is a delusion and a disguise to what they have you doing already. They building you up to finish, to complete this ritual at the end of the month. So they start all the way from November with the hypnosis, and you like a walking zombie. They implant it in your mind and working on and sending vibrations and signals into your brain waves, and getting you prepared to participate in this ritual. And everybody gets all hyped up and ramped up to do it, when you don't have any idea you about to participate in a satanic ritual on a very high level. And Christians talking about they're gonna put the Christ back in Christmas. How you gonna put the Christ back in Christmas when Christ was never in Christmas? That's another delusion. Have people thinking that they're doing something right. Trying to have people rationalize in their mind for the reason that they're about to go do this ritual. Well, maybe I could just say it's the worship of Christ. No, it's not the worship of Christ. It has nothing to do with Christ, and it's self-evident. When you look on the TV, you're going to see Santa Claus. You're going to see Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. You're going to see a snowman. What does any of that have to do with Christ? Like it was mentioned before, Constantine mixed paganism in with Christianity, and eventually paganism overtook the whole doctrine of Christianity. It flooded the Christian doctrine, so there was no more remains of the actual origin of the Christian doctrine. That's essentially what happened. And now you left doing satanic worship. That's how clever Satan is. He done slid his way all the way into Christianity, and nobody would ever take the time to look and say, you know what? Let me find you. Everybody looking for Satan somewhere else. Maybe Satan over here. When Satan got his home base and headquarters right in Christianity, he got everybody deceived. Revelations 12, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. When he operating right there in Christianity, no holds barred. He got you celebrating. He got you celebrating Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, Valentine's Day, all Babylonian customs, satanic worship, rituals on a high demonic level. Now, and with that said, most people are still going to go and participate in that ritual. With everything being said, and they're going to try to rationalize it in their mind and make an excuse and try to say, oh, well, I'm doing it because of the family. No, you're not doing it. You're doing it is because they've been tampering with the brain waves, and they make it to where you think that you have to do this ceremony, or people going to look at you crazy. They start softening you up with Christmas carols. Everybody start acting funny around the Christmas time. All of a sudden, everybody's in this giving mood and nice and want to give hugs and kisses. Why? Because they socially and they're psychologically programming you to act that way and to give. They preparing you slowly to get ready to partake in this ritual that you will do at the end of the month. December 25th, faithfully, you're going to go, you're going to sit down with your whole family and open up presents, and you're going to be doing it in the name of Satan, disguised as Christmas or the worship and the birth of Christ, when it has nothing to do with that at all. Everybody getting all nice and friendly for the holiday season. What about the rest of the months? Why nobody's friendly then? Because Christmas is on a high demonic level. And the elite know that, and they got you partaking. Like I said, most people are still gonna go do it, and that's fine. If you want to go and celebrate Christmas and worship Satan directly on a high level, I have no problem with that. That's your prerogative. I don't have a problem with it. But the Most High God, He has a problem with it. Because you can live it up all you want, have as much fun, crack open as many gifts as you want, decorate as many trees, put as many stars on the top of the trees, kiss as many people under the mistletoe all you want. You can do that for your whole life. That don't got nothing to do with me. But once you enter into the grave and your spirit goes back to the Most High, you got to stand and face Him yourself. And I can tell you right now, you don't want to face Him and you've been celebrating and worshiping Satan. Hebrews 10, verse 31. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God, because you're going to have to answer for it. You're going to have to sit there and answer for it. Every action and every deed that you've done, you're going to have to answer for it. I'm not going to have to answer for it. I got to answer for myself. 2 Corinthians 5, verse 10. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, that everyone may receive the things done in his body according that he have done, whether it be good or bad. So with that being said, if you're going to continue worshiping and celebrating Christmas, so be it. But to those that have an ear, let them hear. And you'll come out of that. And you won't be a partaker of the loophole in the system. And you'll come out of the matrix. So with that being said, now you know exactly what the origin of Christmas is and these rituals that you're participating in. And you know exactly how Satan infiltrated Christianity with Christmas.
All right, family. So listen, I know what brother said at the end there, and I get that. But here's the reality. I care. I don't want my people dealing with these things. I don't want my people getting sucked into these things and displeasing the Most High. I mean, we already in captivity. We already under people who don't give a damn about us. We already under people who will slit our throats the first chance they get. As soon as they're not getting what they want from us, they're willing to destroy us. And that's in every land and where we've been scattered. Not just here in America, not just in Brazil, not just in uh, Asia. It's in every land wherein we've been scattered. And yet, after suffering all these things, after suffering so much and been going through so many negative effects, yet we potentially face judgment at the end of this thing. And when the judgment comes, you could be condemned to the lake of fire. I don't want any of my people in the lake of fire because the lake of fire was not made for us. It was made for the adversary Satan. That's who's supposed to be there. But we've been caught up in this foolishness and we think that we're supposed to do what these nations do and it's going to turn out well for us. These nations weren't brought here in chains. These nations came here and walked off a ship and asked, where to go to get a place to stay. Our people came here, was taken off a ship with chains around our necks and our feet and hands, and put on an auction block, sold to Master Johnson, Master Wilson, Master Thompson, Master Barber, sold Master Anderson, Master Johnson. That's why you don't even have your own name. You carry the name of your slave master. It's to remind you perpetually, continually, that this is the land of your captivity. This is not the land of your rest. You should not be following after these heathen. These heathen will never have your best interest in heart. They will never seek to do what's best for you. That will never be their occupation. That will never be their job. Never, ever will they feel that way. There is absolutely not one heathen that goes to bed at night. Black people really are not getting a fair shake in this country. Black people really have it hard. I need to do something. It doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. It does not exist. You know who's thinking about you having the best way possible? The Most High, in the name of Hamashiach, the Messiah. They're thinking about putting the best foot forward for you. How they're going to get you out of this captivity, when they're going to implement the plan, and when they're going to bring you back into your land and put you on top of the entire society and make you the pinnacle of all the earth, taking the reproach off of you and putting you exactly where you were meant to be all along. That's who's thinking about that for us. And that's why we serve him, because that's what he wants for us. That's his occupation. He says, I am your power and none else. He says, I am your power and none else. I am your power and none else. I'm going to go ahead and close this thing out, man. Y'all, I hope you see at the bottom Romans 10, verse 1, brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to Ha'abba, that's the Father, for Israel, that they might be saved. So called black man, woman, and child, you are Israel. I want so bad for you to be saved. Saved from your enemies, saved from the destruction, saved from the persecution, saved from every negative effect we've had to deal with for the past, and it's been longer than 400 years. It's been longer than 500 years. I could go into the details. Us coming out of Egypt and being persecuted there. They wanted to get rid of our numbers, so they wanted to get rid of all the male children. If you're familiar with the story, that's where Moses came from. Because Moses' mother had him and hid him until she couldn't hide him any longer. And Pharaoh had told his people, when the Hebrews have a baby, if it's a boy, throw him in the river, that he may die. They wanted to get rid of the males, the Hebrew males, the Israelite males. Instead, the Most High came and gave us, well, he sent a representative of his and gave us salvation through that man, Moses. The same way he's planning to bring us out here through Hamashiach, the Messiah. I love y'all, Israel, man, for real. I can't express that enough, man. Y'all mean everything to me. You know, the Most High, then my nation, my family, my brothers and my sisters, the Yeladim, all of us. That's what the Torah teaches us. The Torah teaches us how to deal righteously one with another. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close it on out. It's 12:25. I know our people. I know what our people doing right now. They waking up. They excited. Oh, I got gifts. I got gifts. I got foolishness. Absolute foolishness. You don't have to wait for any day to give somebody a gift. You can give a gift any day. There's no law against giving a gift, even on the Sabbath day. It's always good to do well to your people. You can give a gift. You don't have to wait for, but we wait for this wicked pagan day. Come on, man. We can do better than that. We can do so much better. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close it out with the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter number 12 and verse number 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. It is so very important that we understand that in the conclusion of the whole matter, we are to fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. At the end of the day, when it is all said and done, all the dust is settled, all the smoke is cleared, we will be judged. We will be judged. We will be judged on whether we have feared the Most High and kept his commandments. Why? Because this is the whole duty of man. I am your Akazaki Yahoo, giving all praises, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah Bahashem, Yahushua HaMashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say Shalom, Wa Baruchi, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day that the Most High brings us back together and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High Power, under one covenant, back in our own land with a heart of flesh and no more a heart of stone, with our enemies, our adversaries, and all those who hate us and all those who lied to us and fed us foolishness to get us to go against our power under our feet. Until that day come, shalom, Israel. Shout out to is that Anaya? I'm gonna mess that up. Anahina. Forgive me if I messed up your name, but Toda Rabah for the comment. Certainly appreciate you. Praises to the Abba. Shalom.